Okay, so 5.4 infrared microwaves and radio waves. I refer you to page 288 in your textbooks for the first thing that you need to know. The first thing you need to be able to do is list the ways in which infrared waves, microwaves and radio waves are used. Well, it is on this page here. For example, infrared devices, uses of infrared radiation. In heaters, whenever something is hot, it gives off infrared radiation. Infrared scanners. Okay, so to detect hotspots in the body. Usually if you're sick, there's more chemical reactions going on in your body to try and repair something. So like when you have a temperature, for example, that's when you get a temperature because your body's doing more chemical reactions to try and make you better again. So if you've got an infrared scanner, you'll see that someone has a high temperature, a big hot brow, because that's where the sickness is going on. That's more where maybe the healthy tissue is at. Okay? Infrared cameras, if you want to see people at night, say a robber, if you see in police camera action, a robber messing around, running around in bushes, you can't see them at night time because there's no light. So instead of using light, you can detect their presence using the infrared radiation that they emit. Anything that is hot emits infrared radiation. So if you get an infrared camera, like it's called night vision, and you shine it at something, and you point it at something, then the infrared radiation that they give off, you can see. So you can see someone in bushes because of the heat that they give off, the infrared radiation they give off. Remote control handsets for TV. So your remote control, I've got one over here. Here it is. This is a remote control for my data projector. Okay, interestingly, it still works when you shine it through, it will travel through paper. Okay, infrared radiation will travel through paper. So there's some uses of infrared. Microwaves, we all should know that microwaves are used to cook food. The energy is absorbed by the food, by the water molecules in the food, and transferred into heat. So that's the way of cooking your food using microwaves. Microwaves are also used in communications because they can penetrate the ionosphere. So we use microwaves to send up to satellites because they can go through the ionosphere, the layer of particles that exist in the atmosphere. And what else? Radio waves. What are radio waves used for? Okay, we use radio waves in communication, which we'll talk about next. Describe the relationship between the wavelength and the frequency of these waves. Okay, if you look at wavelength and frequency are related, you should know, by the equation C equals F lambda. So if one goes up, then the other must come down. I'll show you this. C equals F lambda, where C is wave speed, F is the frequency, and lambda is the wavelength. If this is always a constant, so if F goes up, then lambda must come down. Or a more visual way of looking at it is if you look at the spectrum with radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible, UV, X-rays and gamma wave. Obviously this end is a high frequency, and this end is a low frequency. And this end also is a long wavelength, and this end is a short wavelength. Okay. So look what happens as the frequency goes up, the wavelength goes down. So this end is high frequency. Look at the wavelength, short wavelength. Okay. This end is low frequency, and it's a long wavelength. Okay. So as frequency goes up, wavelength goes down. These are closer together. Peaks are closer together here. So wavelength goes down. What else have we got? Describe how alternating currents can be used to produce radio waves. Okay. The reason you have long aerials out of your car when you're picking up radio stations is because the radio waves transmitted by Radio 1 or Capital FM or whoever, they come along and they cause an alternating current. They cause the electrons in that aerial to start moving up and down, moving backwards and forwards. That is an alternating current, alternating direction. 1 minute's going this way, next minute's going that way. Alternating, okay? Alternating current. Describe how radio waves induce alternating currents in areas. So that's what we've spoken about. describe how alternating currents can be used to produce radio waves. Okay? So in the opposite of, so that's induction when you have a current produced, and then the opposite of that is when you produce a alternating current and it emits radio waves. Okay? So you get an aerial, so that's what happens at the transmitter. You get an aerial, you put an alternating current in it, and it gives off radio waves. Okay? So there you go.